Every legendary series has to start somewhere, and for this one, it starts with Forza Horizon. So this is the first in the spin-off series, which is based around the Horizon Festival, where you're going out to these large open-world environments, exploring the sites, taking on races, and also enjoying a little bit of the party scene as well. It's got such a great selection of locations, musical tracks, and vehicles to drive with. This really was quite a remarkable title, and while significantly smaller in scale in comparison to the Horizon titles that followed it, still an absolutely incredible experience, and perhaps a must-play game if you are able to find it, because it's no longer available. It's been delisted from the Xbox Store, which is such a shame. So on Xbox Series X, we inherit the Xbox One X enhancement. That means that we're getting a 4K resolution at 30 FPS with the benefit of auto HDR. And if you've played any of the later Horizon titles with HDR on, you know it's quite a nice touch. Now with that, we get to really sink our teeth in and enjoy this dynamic night-day open world racing experience that is just delightful. I mean, it's a fun, really well done game, and the motorsport franchise just translates almost perfectly to this open world landscape. It's genuinely kind of shocking, and I bet it would have just been the most amazing of experiences if you were playing motorsport through the years, and then you jump onto this and you're like, wow, this is really quite different. And like I was saying, I think maybe at this point there's a good split of people that just like Horizon or just like motorsport, which is kind of neat. And I can't believe we've already had, 4 Horizon titles and numerous motorsport games, and it's just kind of fun. And it's also got the signature rewind feature, if, you weren't familiar with that, to fix up any mistakes. And there's lots of different challenges and events and things you can take part in as you explore this really lovely kind of, I don't know how you would describe it, hilled American land. I think that's like a decent way to kind of describe the setting here. It's just really, really cool. And it's so fun to be engaging in this festival and just kind of just driving around. But you're seeing so many of the signature elements of the Horizon series and how they were kind of expanded further quite a bit in the ones that followed. This was still a really good setup for the series. I think it definitely holds up well. But yeah, they definitely refined a lot of the mechanics and design of the series going forward. But looking at the game, it's very clean. There's not really any pop-in or anything like that. And you feel like you're in a very dense, mountainous and forest area. It's quite miraculous in that regard, and I think they do a good job of the density. Obviously, if you look at the trees, they're a little, 2D-ish at times, but, it still feels dense from a distance, and I think the visual sort of boost that was given to this game just kind of makes it absolutely shine. Now, I'm a big believer of, kind of the game preservation across, eras and, generations of gaming. And it's a shame that these older Horizon titles keep getting delisted. I really wish they would make an effort to kind of renew them, bring them back, because every single one of these is worth playing. Unlike the motorsport titles where you kind of, you drop one, you go on to the next one, right? And I think that's why they're moving towards like a long-term vision for that franchise in particular. But the Horizon titles are ones where you can make a new game in it, and every single one of them is different. They're a different setting, they have a different feeling, they have a different sense of atmosphere, and you can do new things with the technology within every release. And to me, that's really exciting, and it also makes them more of a worthwhile and worthy target of being something that should, be a long-lasting experience. I think that you could easily come here and play this game for years, and, even years from now, I think it would be worthwhile for people to jump into this and see what this game has to offer, because it's so unique in terms of its setting. Same with the second one, same with the third one, same with the fourth one, and probably the same with the fifth one, wherever that happens to take us. I think each of these kind of deserves to be available for players to experience, because they're not something you would just throw away. Their setting and their style kind of makes each of them still hold up quite well. Because, this definitely feels aged in comparison to the Forza titles that follow it, it's still a really interesting technical feat. I find it quite fascinating, And I also just really do enjoy what this has to offer. I think it's a really well done racing game. I think it's got lots of little fun things to do, like these collectibles, as to say, where you're smashing signs. But you know, there's just so many different things you could do, from like races to just driving around like we're doing today. We're just taking in the countryside, we're seeing what it has to offer, and kind of having a fun time doing so. But obviously, you know, there's lots of different vehicles. There's the rally, if you had that. There's multiplayer. I don't know how that would still work at this point. We even have a photo mode, which is kind of cool. Like, I'm surprised they had that back then. It has a lot of options. And then there's like the fast travel and stuff. And it's neat because it's not just like mountainous ranges. There's actually different like places you can go. You can get different vehicles too if you want to do the auto show and stuff like that, which I guess we could. No, we should go up to the bunker first. We're going to go up the mountain a bit more, and then we'll kind of go forward there. Really, do I not have it set up where I've done any of these traffic thingies, so it's got to explain that dynamic to me. Ooh, those trees, I tell you. Actually, it's kind of impressive density, because I don't know if the later titles have quite the same density as well. That's kind of something interesting to think about. And I mean, not every part of this holds up beautifully. It could use a little bit of a little texturing upgrade, but I think for the most part, like, it looks really clean. Like, the vehicle looks decently sharp. The environment does as well. It's just kind of a really great looking title. And that's what I'm trying to get across, is that it really is unique because of its setting. Not in terms maybe of how well everything holds up, but the fact that its setting is so interesting is kind of, you know, delightful to me to be able to see it like this and to continue to be able to experience what this has to offer. And that's why I get back to that point where I'm like, it would be really cool if someone like way decades from now could play this game and experience the whole thing of it and see it all, you know, beautiful like this and be like, oh, this is still a really great racing game. And I'm sure more racing titles will come and more will go. But there's something about these ones where you get to visit these unique scenes and these unique places and enjoy the scope of the festival that makes them so alluring, so exciting, and so different. I don't know, it's something that I wish more people would be able to, you know, experience in the long run, and I don't think they will, and that to me is just like a big shame, because it's such a cool game. It really is. It's all well done. All of them are really well done in general. And I have shown each of them off as well from the Horizon series on the channel, so you can actually see each of the releases in the franchise. So that's kind of neat if you're wanting to dive into some, I guess, nostalgia to a degree, or see how each of them is running here. And I think these are perhaps, even if it's not available, good candidates to be something that could use a boost in like frame rate to really push this thing to the next level. I think getting this running at a higher fluidity would just be totally achievable, and I think it would really help improve the longevity of it. But then again, the fact that you can't get this anymore also maybe hurts its candidacy as well, which I think is a shame. Again, going into that idea that I wish more people could play this game. I know a lot of people grabbed it when it was kind of being given out during its last, you know, sort of run there, but at the same time, there's so many more people like playing games in that nowadays that just won't be able to jump in there. Oh wow, I actually got an achievement. Nice. I love picking up the old gamer score. And I think the DVR actually captures the achievements and stuff. I don't remember if it used to back in the day. I know it doesn't on the new achievements, but I think that one it does. Oh look, there's another festival area. And again, we're mostly just driving around and showing you what it's like to visit these towns. I'd like to think, you know, that they could come back to North America and do some fun things. I always wanted a Forza Canada. I think that one would be lovely, but what I'm mostly saying is there's just like unlimited places that you can set this game franchise in, right? Like, you can go anywhere with different cars and have different challenges and different situations, and I think it would work for all of them quite well. And I think this one's kind of fun because it's kind of a weird starting, isn't it? Like a weird starting point for the franchise. Because when you think of it now, it's a little bit more like, I don't know, what do people think of when they think of environments in Horizon? We've had like lovely Australia, we'd have the temperate Britain, we've had Europe, we've had the US. It's just like really weird different biomes, haven't we? I think that's kind of fun. Let's fast travel there. Show a little bit of the loading in that off, which is like instant. Seeing a lot of different vehicles. Ooh, the Bel Air, that's kind of cool. Ferrari. Lots of Ferraris, strangely. Yeah, but the list is so, like, it's kind of hilariously limited in comparison to the ones that came afterwards. Because you gotta remember, it's a game of its time, too, right? It's only got what was available for it. Oh, the McLarens. Yeah, a lot of older vehicles. That's kind of funny. Did I get any, I'm trying to think if I have any, like, message center, any... Oh, yeah, because it's probably, like, disconnected, right? Oh, because I was wondering if I had any, like, in-game credit things given to me from doing the Forza hub, but I don't think this one would have that, which is a bit disappointing. Oh, wow. Okay, so we should head over... I want to go through the city. So we'll put that as our marker. That's more like an off-road area. We went over this way. Like, it's still really big. Obviously, it's not, like I said, as massive as the later titles, but it's still quite large. And I gotta say, like, the density of the crowds is also kind of impressive as well for that era. Because even the later ones, I don't think quite have crowd density to the same degree that this one does. Definitely fascinating. It's so interesting to see how this franchise is just, like, grown. Especially as I've, like, reviewed them over the years. It's just... it's kind of wild. And then the spin-offs and stuff. Like, this one has had its rally, right? But then they started to get nuts with things. We had, like, Hot Wheels. We had, like, Crazy Islands. The Lego one. They just go crazy in this. And I think that's kind of fun. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, wow. My bad. Flip that car around, smashed it a little bit, which is not great. I mean, obviously, like, the revamp and the follow-up was just intense, but I still think that this one is certainly a cool setting, certainly a cool experience. I love the backdrops. And I also like how, this one's open world, but the later Horizon titles really open it up quite a bit more, too. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's a little bit more constricted in terms of, like, the places you can go off the road. Like, for the most part, you're very much trapped on the actual, like, road part of the experience. Whereas those later titles, they let you, really just, like, ram and smash through things. Whereas this one tries to keep you a little bit more confined to the actual setup that they've created here. So that's also interesting. Just that, like, technology gap for me, I think, is, like, the biggest part here, seeing how those cars change between gens, seeing the freedom that changed between generations, and also just how they were constantly able to develop, improve, and upgrade what this had to offer. Is there, like, a stadium there? That's kind of nuts looking. I don't know, it's just, like, it's a really, really cool franchise. I can't wait to see where they take it going forward. I think, I think it's going to be around for a very long time. Because I think it's a lot of fun. I think a lot of people enjoy what this has to offer. And I think if you can try this one out, maybe give it a whirl just to see what it was like. And if not, there's always later Horizon titles that are available, and they're really great too. I mean, I can't wait to see where we end up driving next. Hopefully covering that as well, I imagine I will, and just getting out there and hitting the open road and seeing what else this franchise has to do, because it's always pushing boundaries of technology and racing titles. It's always doing something different, it's always innovating, and it's always just being, like, a really exciting series. Like, this has just been a blast, and I haven't even really done anything. I haven't really done any races, I haven't really done any challenges. I hit a few little signs along the way, but I've mostly just been driving around and enjoying the world, and I think that's kind of exciting. Just nuts. Even you can see the early days of the Drivatar system as well, kind of where they got kind of built off of that. It's just wild. And yeah, I wish more people would be able to experience this. Who knows, maybe we'll get a definitive release someday and they'll re-license things, I don't know. But for now, that's Horizon. Always sitting here, always waiting for me to really put in an effort and drive through and race through this game, so Hopefully someday I'll really be able to do that, but that's a good enough adventure at this point.